Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of you and peace out to the rest of you. Hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. I'm going to tell you now that the debate I would have been willing to have on my channel, though, was rendered pointless when I thought about it. Now, I apologize for how I sound. I guess it's a cold or something bothering the sinuses. But, yeah, it's bad. It's rough to breathe, and I got a sinus headache. So I would not have been in shape to argue this evening, my time anyway. This morning, yours. And I admit to being a bit of a hothead, which is worse than being emotional, but that's not black men, that's me. I know what bothers me, and what bothers me is not when people disagree, it is when people consistently interrupt. Now, I'm an educator, and I teach Bedouin Arabs, and Arabs that aren't Bedouin, but are just spoiled, and they do this. So, of course, I won't have patience for it during the weeks in which we will not have classes. And I did learn about myself from listening to that debate. I realized that I am now biased, but I'm not going to change that because I'm convinced that my bias is correct. We are right in this gender war. The Western woman is wrong, period. That includes the Western black woman. We did not start it. They did. If we even so much as did not tolerate the games and the foolishness and the effery, what will we called? 9AY, right? Even now, Schumacher Way has videos in which he says, and I didn't watch it, but the title is, the black women now have black men dating other men. No, black men are not being chased by women towards other men. That's not what it is. Black men are being driven away from Western black women to non-Western, more traditional black and non-black women. That's what it is. So, obviously, that whole 9AY argument, well, that's not really the case, but the point is that it's always there, it's always used. So if you're a black man and you're red pill aware and you don't tolerate the games and the foolishness, then the first thing they want to go to is, well, you're a few steps away from being 9AY. Yeah, okay. Of course they would say that. And I think that and I'm not the first one to say this. I just don't want to say who it was that I heard say it earlier today because the conversation is private. But I do believe that we in the black manosphere need to publicize a particular point that many of us already know. I think Edward Allen Anderson may have said this on a live stream before. He may have, but I'm not sure about my memory. But that is the knowledge that when Western black women say that you are 9AY, that should be evidence that you were straight. Now, moving on. The debate would not have been, it would not have been opportune right now. But the other thing, too, about it is this. You guys won it already. Debate for what? I want you to think back to all of the debates that we've had over the past several years trying to get the message out. I even offered to debate anybody years ago. I think it was 2020. And I said that black men, especially ambiguous looking or lighter skinned black men, but hell, black men in general need to not make approaches. Don't approach Western women. Don't do that. And of course, I did it at a time that people, I thought they would be waking up for work, if I remember right. But I had to do it at a time I would have been awake. Well, the point is, that was a debate on which no one took me up. And I don't really blame the sisters because, frankly, my channel was smaller then than it is now. Maybe they just didn't know. But I also want to state this. You think about all of the debates that we've all actually had, all the panels, the voice raising, the screeching, the sisterhood defending itself when it's just rucking thong. That's a spoonerism. All of these issues have now been answered. All of these debates have been answered. You, the collective of black men, have proven my platform correct. You've broken the psychological chains that have stated that we have to just tolerate this because that's just how it is between men and women, and you just have to be patient. You pretty much said, wait a minute, they don't have to be patient with us. We need not have any patience. And you were right. Being patient was a mistake, a grave mistake. And we passed that on. Well, it was passed down to us, and now we were about to pass this down to the younger generation of black males, and we caught ourselves and said, wait, no, shuck this fifth. If they don't have to be patient with us, then we don't have to be patient with them. And quiet as is kept, white women are learning from Western sisters, and Western sisters have learned from white women, so they're feeding off of each other as much as they may not like each other. They feed off of each other. And this is why it is that a white woman was telling an audience one day on a clip that Average Man Unplugged referenced, and someone else did too. And this white lady was talking about a study that was done and found that women had 300 deal breakers. Things like wearing the wrong tie with the wrong color belt or the wrong color pants with the wrong color belt, just looking for reasons to disqualify men. Men had 3 things. So the couples that are not forming were not due to men, and these couples were not due to women. The couples forming, the couples that did not form were due to women disqualifying men for every little thing. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of that was learned from Western sisters because Western sisters learned to come up with things. You wore the wrong color shirt in middle school. It's over. That is something sisters learned. In the 90s, it was them that came with that. It wasn't white women. It wasn't them white girls. And so consequently, they're now facing solitude instead of having 3 or 4 retirement plans. And it's because of you, brothers. Good. It's not enough of us yet from what you guys are telling me, but it's enough of us compared to what it used to. In other words, the progress is there. You are no longer allowing the reach back. Shout out to Accountability Commentary. You are now saying no. You played in the snow. You will stay in the snow. You're now saying no. You wanted Pookie and Ray Ray, and you've had his kids. Go back to him. Don't bring them kids to me. It's not my problem. You're now saying no. You can't stay with me even if you're facing eviction. No, you can't stay with me. Because if we ain't screwing and smashing, then why should I open up my place to you? And if you agreed to do it, you would then later on press charges and say that I used that as some sort of coercion, and therefore it's criminal. And either you're going to sue me, or you're going to have me thrown behind bars. So no, forget that too. Just no. That's not the way to go about it. You were saying the right things and for the right reasons. And so had we had a debate, it would have been pointless anyway because you are proving the case on which my platform would have stood. I got that backwards, I'm sorry. You approving the platform on which no, I got it right. Never mind, my bad. Anyway, you get the idea. You already proving my side correct. And if I switched sides, God forbid, you would have still proven this same side correct, and I would have been wrong. In other words, you already proving which side of every debate was correct. And every time more of us do this, you prove it correct again. The debates were useless. There's nothing to debate. Simply put, you're winning. None of this that I say is out of hatred for Femi, although I am biased against her, obviously. Mostly not because of even her opinion, but because of the insistence upon interrupting and raising her voice. And it is largely because I do understand that, what we're right and they're wrong. And it is a tactic of the sisterhood and the gynocrat goons to try to get a yes or no answer to a nuanced question, and then to do the reverse. Try to give a nuanced answer to a simple yes or no question. Like for me, they'll try to say something like, well, did you bit Gitches? That's a nuanced answer. What time in my life are you talking about? Okay, so that means no. So you're a failure with women. In comparison to what? In comparison to who? I mean, most men don't do that well with women. And you know what? The Filipina P shed light on something to me. The Filipina P said that women in the West find 80% of men unattractive, and that's not natural. I thought about it. At first, I thought that it was natural. I mean, my lady students here have said that most men are not that good looking to them, but it dawned on me. 80% being unattractive probably is unnatural. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. It's not 85. It's not 80%, and it's not 85% really in the West. Those are conservative estimates. It's actually more like 87 to 93 that are unattractive. That's also unnatural. I didn't know that. Filipina P doesn't have to be an expert on it. She lives in and grew up in a traditional environment, in a traditional nation. She then lived in the U.S., so she knows the comparisons and the contrast. She still has visas to go and visit the U.S. fairly easily. What does that tell you? Now, what that says to me is that she knows that everybody else knows where she comes from, that that's unnatural. And what you gentlemen have said is, well, if that's how you feel about these things, then you know what? We're not an option anymore. You've been difficult, but you're not going to be an option anymore. I mean, we were not going to be an option for you anymore. You're so difficult that now you can't even do the reach back. That ends the debates. Brothers who cannot leave the US and Canada right now are still not willing to be options. You have found the strength to be by yourself if that is a safer option. And while it's unnatural, I still applaud that because it was still the safer bet for you. Hats off to you, black men, for winning a hypothetical debate, making it unnecessary, for winning debates that were real but have already been long since ended, long ago on platforms that are no longer even used anymore, like Google Hangouts, whatever else. Live streams that may still be up, but are not seen anymore, or live streams that are no longer available to view because the channels have been either closed or something. You have proven which side was true even in those debates. And what you've done is you have lessened the need for debates in the future. The question now will be, what will these lovely ladies, as Dennis Sperling would call them, debate about amongst themselves? We will be debating as to which stocks are best investments, considering an economy in which certain things are going to be in high demand, such as pet food, toys, maybe even bunk beds for old ladies to live together. Yeah. I mean, I don't know, maybe even tents for the homeless. And I'm not saying these things as a mockery. I'm saying these things because these may wind up becoming investments in which some of you make money because of the mockery that the Westernicians have made of themselves. And that's why I said these things. I do not celebrate. Well, I used to not celebrate the suffering, but I learned in listening to this debate that I have become biased, but I'm not going to change it because, well, the bias is right. The double standards are right. The right thing to do, and I would not have done that had we had a debate today. I would not have done this, but in the future, the right thing to do is to tell them our platform. And when they interrupt or raise their voice, we put them on mute. The right thing for them to say is, yeah, we caused this. We drove you to it. This is on us. And we're just going to have to remain by ourselves, or we're going to have to play this. We're going to have to do what the hell you want. Those are going to be the right answers from them. Either, yes, we are alone because of what we did. We did this to ourselves. Or, well, you know what? We're just going to have to do this on your terms then. Cook on your terms. Bend over on your terms. Clean on your terms. And even have jobs. I'm going to tell you now. When Westernicians, one, don't approach them. Do not validate them. Do not seek them out. In the event that they do come and they seek you out and they check for you, it needs to be 50-50. In other words, do not offer even when they come to you, do not present, don't counter offer to Westernicians who do come to you a deal equal to that of traditional women. I didn't say better, I said equal. Save taking all the financial responsibility for the traditional women. Save it for them. Don't offer that to the Westernicians. They need to do the domestic stuff and at least earn a little bit of their own money. Why is that? Well, again, I'm not saying this out of hatred. I'm simply saying this because they've made choices that have made them inferior to other women. So they can't get equal outcomes. They can't get equal options presented to them because they're not equal women. Could they have been? Yes. But they made their decision, and some consequences have to be permanent in order for others to not repeat the same mistakes. It's just like with my students. I hope that what I've said is a benefit. Thank you for listening. And as always, black heart, black mind, blackout. Assalamu alaikum, black heterosexual, non-select male power because they don't like it. Black patriarchy until extinction or judgment day. And thank you for flying with us on Jet Black Airways, where Jet Black is also a verb. Keep jetting black with us until the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender, justice, forever.